All right, how's it going, class? So tonight the topic of discussion is going to be talking about intermittent fasting. And the reason why I chose intermittent fasting is because personally I've been doing it for almost 5 years now. And I know there's quite a bit of mainstream stuff coming out about it now. More people are starting to gravitate towards it because of all the health benefits behind it. And there are quite substantial studies that are showing that it helps with regulating your blood sugar levels, the drop off of insulin, human growth hormone, the increase of your human growth hormone levels, and even your gene expression. So we are going to be going into depth on that tonight. So the first one we're going to be talking about is blood sugars and insulin. And this is coming from Do Yoon Lee, and he's a medical doctor, and he medically reviewed all of this information. So he's got some credibility behind his name. So that's good to go. All right, so insulin levels. Insulin levels are substantially lowered as a result of intermittent fasting. Now, insulin levels, it's a regulatory response when you eat food, whether it's protein, carbohydrates, or fats, your insulin levels are going to spike as a result of ingesting these excess calories. Now, what happens is your body has to find a way to balance itself so its blood sugar levels stay maintained. And with the spike of insulin shuts off the ability for your body to use fat as energy and burning off your fat stores as energy. So then what happens is you're now, as a result, holding on to the fat, and your insulin levels are spiking, causing you to not burn off the extra fat, in essence, more calories. And what can happen as a result of this is you could have insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is a result of being overweight and consuming excess amount of calories of what your body is hormonally used to in layman's terms. And so basically what that means is your body has a hard time of being able to maintain its blood sugar levels. So you have a much easier likelihood of gaining more weight and in the long run developing diabetes. Now personally, I actually have diabetes. I have type 1 diabetes. I got it when I was 10 years old. 10 years old, about a week before Christmas, funny enough, I got quite a bit of sugar-free candy. So that was quite the treat, not gonna lie. But yeah, I've had type 1 diabetes for almost 13 years now, and intermittent fasting has helped me tremendously. Personally, taking insulin is not the most fun, but in the morning you just wake up, you drink some water, some tea, black coffee. You don't have to take any insulin or anything like that. So that's why I personally love intermittent fasting. But now we're going to be talking about human growth hormone and the increases that it has as a result from intermittent fasting. And this source is from Dr. Jason Fung, and he is also a medical doctor. So human growth hormone naturally drops as we age, and human growth hormone acts similarly to cortisol. So what that means is by the increasing glucose levels from eating food and ingesting calories and carbohydrates, what happens is the increase of the insulin levels is basically an increase in cortisol, which then shuts off your body's ability to keep up the high regulating human growth hormone levels. So then your levels are then suppressed, which in turn less growth hormone response. And when fasting, this is fascinating, when fasting, you get a spike in the morning from human growth hormone and a consistent, steady release throughout the day, rather than a crash in the morning, where in the morning your cortisol levels are already peaked. So you're already getting that growth hormone spike, more gains, more of all that great stuff. And funny enough, there are even some substantial studies that show that short-term fasting has shown to be 4 times greater at preserving lean mass. Now think about that for a second. When you hear fasting, especially in the weightlifting or fitness community, you hear fasting, it's like, oh, I'm going to be losing some of the gains that I've been putting in. But after the research studies, 4 times greater preserving lean mass. That's just fascinating. So hope you like this speech. The sources that I found were from Du Yoon Lee, he's a medical doctor, and Dr. Jason Fung, who's also a medical doctor. And I have these slips of paper right here with the information that helped me. And I also have 2 more pieces of paper right here as well. So I'm wearing the blue beanie because it's a little cold in here. So hope you guys like that speech, and take care.